So, good morning, all, and welcome back to our session on heat transfer. So, early in the morning at 10:30, there was power failure. It's a usual thing because it is Tuesday. So, now power supply is restored back, so we can begin soon. Okay, uh, let us wait for another minute or so that rest of your batchmates will join in soon. Till then, we will take a quick review of what we covered yesterday. Now, I'm going to share my screen. I hope my screen sharing is visible to you. Just any one of you give me confirmation. Say yes or no. Is the screen visible? Yes. Okay. I got couple of messages, so that should be fine for everyone. So screen should be clearly visible as well as readable to all of you. So yesterday we covered another case, an important and different case of heat conduction or heat transfer with internal heat generation. Okay, so new condition we have added, that is with internal heat generation. Okay, so then we discuss for this for three different cases, three standard simple cases. We started our derivations or study for three standard and simple cases. Standard and simple because they are of standard geometry such as a plane wall, cylinder, and sphere. And why it is simple? Because uh, the conditions are symmetric ones. Okay, the conditions and conditions such as the fluid and temperature, their heat transfer coefficients are going to be uniform and same on both sides, and thereby uh, the analysis, mathematical analysis and derivation becomes simpler. Okay, so these cases were standard and simple ones. So three such cases we have covered so far. First one was one-dimensional steady-state heat transfer through plane wall with internal heat generation. Second case was one-dimensional steady-state heat transfer through solid cylinder with internal heat generation. So uh, the rest of the procedure remains same. All the mathematical steps are very similar to each other. So it has some common form. Only the difference is in variables. In case of a solid cylinder, we have variables, cylindrical coordinates we have to use, such as radius and angular theta and axial direction z. So as we are considering it to be in one dimensional heat transfer, so there is we are dealing with the radius term here. Okay, so we are considering the heat transfer in radial direction only. So this was the case of solid cylinder. Then we went on to discuss about solid sphere. Again, in case of solid sphere, we have to refer to spherical coordinates. In spherical coordinates, we have three dimensions such as radius, one angle, angle in horizontal plane theta, and angle in vertical plane phi. Okay, but as we are considering only one-dimensional heat transfer, that is in radial direction, so we uh, applied our mathematical analysis in one dimension, that is radial direction only. Then we went on to solve the differential second order differential equation, integrated it, and found out the constant values. So in this way we completed the derivation for three standard and simple cases with internal heat generation under steady state. Now we are going to add on uh, some complexity to it. Okay, because we are going to change the conditions, and by just change in conditions, it is going to get a little complicated. Okay, so we will do it in step by step manner. Okay, so the next case is like this. Next case, as you can see on your screen, just a minute, let me confirm. I think all have joined, nobody is in queue. Okay, everything is fine here. If you, meanwhile, if you have any trouble in receiving my voice clearly and loudly, or have any trouble in viewing the screen, just put your feedback in message box, or you can just unmute yourself and directly talk. Okay. So as you can read on your screen, application of Poisson's equation when surface temperatures of a plane wall are different, that is unequal. Okay. So the first, this is very similar to the first case of a plane wall with internal heat generation. In that case, we had the same temperatures on both sides, same wall temperatures on both sides. So it was a symmetric case. Now it is a asymmetric problem because the conditions have changed. Condition is like we are having different temperatures on different faces, different temperatures on both side faces. Okay, so as you can see on in the diagram, this is a infinite plane wall, and we are looking at the cross section. So in cross section, we can only view the thickness, and thickness of this plane wall is very small as compared to the height and as compared to the width of the wall. Okay, width cannot be seen. Width is going to be perpendicular to the plane of paper, and what we can see is height. Height is very large as compared to the thickness. As compared to the thickness. Just a minute. So consider a plane wall of infinite length and infinite width having thickness b. Now we are calling it to be thickness b. The simple case of in the first simple and standard case, we had assumed the thickness to be 2b because it was a symmetric case. So we could have easily divided into b and b. But now this is asymmetric case. We are considering thickness to be only b. Okay. So now uh, let us assume the wall temperatures on this face and this face as TW1 and TW2. TW1 is the temperature of one face. TW2 is the temperature of the other face. Both are unequal. We don't know right now. We don't know which one is greater and which one is smaller. Okay, so it is just a general case. So we'll not assume anything here. So TW1 may be greater than TW2, or it may be smaller than TW2. Okay. Then let us assume Q bar is the rate of internal heat generation per unit volume. This is the Q bar which is being generated inside this plane wall at the uniform rate and at the uniform, and it is a volumetric flow rate, volumetric rate. So it is a per unit volume. Okay. Then let us say this face, left face is at origin. So x equal to 0 is this boundary, and at x equal to b, that is full width, at the full width, that is at right face, x equal to b, this is the right face. Okay, so thickness b is ranging from x equal to 0 to x equal to b, and x is the variable. Now we can apply, and what will happen? The situation is this: there is internal heat generation Q bar. Now this plane wall is exposed to some fluid on both sides, some common fluid on both sides, and this under steady state, what will happen? Whatever is the heat generation taking place in the plane wall is going to be distributed on both sides on account of temperature difference. Okay, so some heat flow will take place in this direction, and some heat flow will happen in the in this direction, that is to left side and right side. And this distribution will not be equal. It will be both q and let us say this is q1 and this is q2. The sum of q1 and q2 will equal to q bar, total heat generation, and values of Q1 and Q2 will not be equal because temperatures are different. Okay. And one more aspect, that in the standard case, as we knew that it is a symmetric problem and both side temperatures were same. In that case, it was easy to predict that the maximum temperature will appear at the center plane or at the midpoint. Okay, so it was very simple and very obvious to predict that the maximum temperature will appear at the center plane or at the center place. But here, the position of maximum temperature will be different because of unequal distribution of heat on both sides, and because of unequal temperatures on both sides. So we don't know, in this case we don't know where the position of maximum temperature will be. It may be closer to this phase, it may be closer to this phase. Okay. Then we will now start our mathematical process. So one D means one dimensional Poisson's equation is given by dabba square t by dabba x square plus q bar by k equal to 0. You should know the meaning of Poisson's equation. So whenever I say Poisson's equation, or whenever you read Poisson's equation in any question paper, you should know that it is the case with steady state heat transfer and with internal heat generation. So internal heat generation is going to be present there. Okay, so this component is very important and it is under steady state. So that is why right hand side is 0. So dabba square t by dabba x square plus q bar by k equal to 0. Shift this to right hand side. Dabba square t by dabba x square equal to minus q bar by k. So call it equation 1. Now we are going to integrate it twice so that we will get the constants. So first integrating it with respect to x for first time. So it will reduce to dabba t by dabba x equal to minus q bar by k into x, and constant c1, and this will be the constant of integration added here. So equation number 2, let us integrate it again so that temperature T will come out of differential and will be free from it. So after integrating, we get T equal to minus q bar by k is constant, q bar is constant, conductivity is also constant, and x integration of x will be x square by 2. So this term is there, and c1 into x, then another constant of integration will be added, c2. This is equation number 3. Okay, now these are any arbitrary or general constant values. Now we have to get exact values of constant c1 and c2, and to get exact values of c1 and c2, we have to apply proper boundary conditions. Okay, now in this case we have got two boundary conditions. Let us now look at the diagram. At x equal to 0, this is one boundary. X equal to 0, that is at left face, temperature T is equal to TW1. This is known temperature. And at x equal to B, at this right face, temperature is TW2. Temperature is TW2. So these two boundary conditions we certainly know. So we can apply these boundary conditions and we can put them in this general equation of temperature, and then we can easily find out their values. Okay. So in equation 3, that is this equation, you put x equal to 0. So this term 0, this term becomes 0 because x square is 0. Sorry, 0 square is 0, 0 into anything 0. So only we are left with C2. So C2 is equal to TW1. C2 is equal to TW1 because at x equal to 0, temperature is TW1. So constant C2 is very simple. It is TW1. So this is obtained. Now using this, we have to obtain C1, constant value C1. So this is equation number 4. Let us put boundary condition 2, that is at x equal to B, temperature is TW2. Let us put it in equation 3. In equation 3, uh, this is TW2 is equal to, now we will put equal to x equal to B. So minus q bar by 2k into B square plus C1 into B plus C2. Okay. So that is what we get here. TW2 equal to minus q bar by 2k B square plus C1 into B plus TW1. Now C1 we know, sorry, okay, from this equation we can rearrange the terms for C1. So C1 taken on one side and rest of the other terms managed in on the other side. C1 equal to TW2 minus TW1 divided by B plus Q bar B upon 2K. So equation number 5. So C1 is having these two terms together. Okay. Now we can put C1 and C2. C2 is only TW1 and C1 is the addition of these two terms. We can put them in equation 3 so that temperature will be obtained in its general form. So T is equal to minus q bar x square by 2k plus there is C1 into x. So for C1 we will put this value, that is TW2 minus TW1 upon B plus q bar B upon 2k. This entire bracket is C1 into x plus C2 is C2 is TW1. C2 is replaced by TW1. Okay. Now T is equal to now we will take the common terms and group them together. So minus q bar x square by 2k plus TW2 minus TW1 upon B into x. This bracket is expanded into q bar bx upon 2k plus TW1. Now q bar by 2k is taken outside, and in bracket we can write bx minus x square plus tw2 minus tw1 upon b into x plus tw1. So this is the general uh, general equation for a temperature T for a given case. Okay, so we can, you put any value of x here, you can obtain temperature T in the for T for the given wall, under given conditions. Okay, so this is the temperature distribution for a given condition. Now we have to find the maximum temperature, and where it will appear. Okay, let us say it is appearing at distance x. We don't know whether the x is at midpoint or at the one fourth length or three fourth length. We certainly have no any idea. Okay, to get the exact value of x, where the T max will appear, for that, we will use this dt by dx equal to 0. Okay, by using dt by dx equal to 0, we can find the the maximum point. Okay, so dt by dx, actually this term, we already have the equation in the form of dt by dx. So we can refer back to that equation number 1, where we had, okay, this equation number 2. We have this here, dt by dx equal to, in this form, minus q bar by k into x, and c1, uh, we have obtained, so that will be replaced. So so we have this here, dt by dx equal to minus q bar by k into x plus tw2 minus tw1 upon b plus q bar b upon 2k. Let us call equation number 6. Now at x equal to xm, if we put x equal to xm, what will happen? dt by dx will be 0. So this term becomes 0. So let us put this condition. So left hand side 0, and x will be replaced by xm. So minus q bar into xm by k plus tw2 minus tw1 upon b plus q bar b upon 2k. Now from this we can rearrange the terms for xm like this. This is simple algebra, and from this we get xm equal to k into tw2 minus tw1 divided by q bar into b plus b by 2. Equation number 8. Okay, so this value of xm gives us the position of maximum temperature, where the position where the maximum temperature is going to appear. Okay, so that can be obtained from this expression. So whenever we want to find the position of maximum temperature, we will use this form of equation, and if we know the values, all values such as q bar, k, b, tw1, tw2, if we put them all together, we will certainly get the value of xm in meters. Okay. Now, so this is now found out. If we put this value in the formula of temperature, if we put x equal to xm in this form, we will get the maximum temperature also. we can easily get the value of maximum temperature. Now, now temperature is done. Now we want to know what is happening for heat transfer rate. So under steady state, what will happen? All the heat which is generated in the wall will be distributed or dissipated or transferred out of the wall through both surfaces, and that will be by conduction. That will be by conduction. Okay. So rate of heat generation is equal to rate of heat conduction at x equal to 0 plus rate of heat conduction at x equal to b. Okay. uh, Internal heat generation is this at this rate, and this is going to be distributed via conduction on one phase and the other phase. So this will be given by addition of the two. So let us say this is a q1 component and this is q2 component. So q1 plus q2 equal to total rate of heat generation. Okay. So rate of heat conduction, that is q1 at distance x equal to 0, that is at the left phase, we can give it by Fourier's law of heat conduction minus Ka dt by dx at x equal to 0. So temperature gradient, this is temperature gradient at x equal to 0, that is at left phase. Okay. So dt by dx at x equal to 0, we can obtain it from equation number 6. Okay, what we have to do, we have to simply put x equal to 0 in that relation. Then we get Tw2 minus Tw1 upon b plus q bar b upon 2k. Now, this expression, this entire the addition of these two terms, if we put it in this equation of heat transfer rate q1, we get q1 equal to minus k as it is. This dt by dx at x equal to 0 is replaced by these terms. So entire bracket is coming here. So this gives us rate of heat transfer at phase at left phase or at phase at x equal to 0. The same way, we can write for heat conduction Q2 at x equal to b, where Q2 is given by minus Ka dt by dx at x equal to b. Initially, we found that dt by dx at x equal to 0. Now we have to get dt by dx at x equal to b. That is at right face. That is at right hand face of the wall. So again, using the same equation and putting x equal to b, we get this large expression. Okay. Here it was simple because we had to put only x equal to 0. So all those terms would have got cancelled. That is why only two terms are left here. But here we are putting x equal to b. So those terms will not get cancelled. So those will reappear here. So Tw2 minus Tw1 upon b plus q bar b upon 2k minus q bar b upon k. Again, it will be further simplified because these are same terms, only this is half part. Okay. So Tw2 minus Tw1 upon b minus q bar b upon 2k. Now this is obtained. Now this will be put back in Q2, equation of Q2. So we get Q2 equal to minus k into this bracket, the equation number 12. So whenever we want to find heat transfer rate on left face, we will use this equation, and for right face, we will use this equation. Okay. If you compare the both equations, these are very similar to each other. Only there is difference in plus minus. Here there is a plus sign for q bar b upon 2k, and here it is a minus sign for q bar b upon 2k. Okay. How much difference or how it varies and all that can be realized only when we put some realistic values in it and we solve the numerical. And when you get the numerical values for q1 and q2, by then only you can get some understanding of this. Okay. um, Otherwise it is just a mathematical expression. uh, by just looking at this, we cannot say which one is larger and which one is smaller. We cannot say anything about it. Okay. The same, and to ensure the energy balance is the same, we can do this check, that is rate of heat generation is equal to q bar into volume of wall. Q bar is the volumetric rate of heat generation multiplied by, so this is per unit volume. This is heat generation per unit volume, that is for 1 unit of volume, multiply by the total volume of the wall. We know the dimensions such as length, width, and uh, thickness. Then multiplying that, we can get the volume of the wall. and thereby we can get the total rate of heat transfer, total rate of heat generation. That will be equal to, that will be exactly equal to the addition of these two, Q1 and Q2. So that checks and balances the uh, energy equation here. Okay. So based on this case, we will solve one short problem, so that will give you some clear understanding of all this theory. Now the problem statement is like this: flat plate of steel in bracket K equal to 54 watt per meter degree Celsius, 1.25 centimeter thick and 10 centimeter wide, generates heat at the rate of 8000 kilowatt per meter cube. Temperature of one surface of the plate is 80 degrees Celsius and that of the other is 90 degrees Celsius. Then calculate number 1, position and magnitude of the maximum temperature. Number 2, flow of heat at each surface per meter length. Okay. So, just by reading out the problem statement, we can understand the situation. A flat plate of steel is given, its thickness is given 1.25 centimeter, its height is given to 10 centimeter or width. Let us we can take it as a width or height, doesn't matter. Then it uh, there is a heat generation because it is said it generates the heat at the rate of 8000 kilowatt per meter cube per unit volume. So there is an internal heat generation. So this is very similar case to the steady state heat transfer with internal heat generation. Then temperature of one surface is at 80 degrees Celsius and the other face is at 90 degrees Celsius. So these are unequal temperatures. The boundary conditions are given like unequal temperatures. In this case, in the given scenario, we have to find the position and magnitude of maximum temperature. Position, where that is the location xm where the temperature will be maximum, and also the value of maximum temperature. And number 2, flow of heat at the each surface for per meter length. Okay, for entire wall in the given problem, nothing is mentioned about the length. So as it is said per meter, so we can take length equal to 1 meter. Okay. Now from this you can compare the dimensions. Thickness is very small, 1.25 centimeter, whereas width is 10 centimeter and length is 1 meter. Okay, so as compared to length and width, the thickness is very small. That is why we can assume it to be a one dimensional heat transfer. Okay, so from this we can draw a rough sketch like this. This is a wall, and this is the thickness 1.25 centimeter. This is the height of 10 centimeter and length will be 1 meter. It is shown infinite only to indicate it is a case of infinite plane wall. Okay, so height is very large. It is 10 centimeter and length is very large, still very large. That is 1 meter as compared to the thickness, which is very small, 1.25 centimeter. Only for clear understanding, the width is shown, thickness is shown larger. Okay, otherwise, to the scale, if we draw it, it will be very thin. It will be very thin wall. Okay, only for clarity of the concept it is made enlarged. Okay, so if you look at the cross section, we'll take the cross section and deal with the one dimensional heat transfer like this. There is internal heat generation q bar with uniform rate volumetric per unit volume, and conditions given are like this: on one phase tw1, that is wall temperature, is 80 degrees Celsius, on the other phase wall temperature is 90 degrees Celsius. So it is clearly a case of unequal temperatures. So let us say Q1 is the rate of heat transfer passing through left face, and Q2 be the heat conduction on the right face. Okay, and addition of two will equal to the total heat generation within the wall. Okay, this is the B thickness, which is equal to 1.25 centimeter. Let us take the origin at at this left face, x equal to 0, and x equal to b will be the right face. So x is starting from the left end, and positive x will be in this direction, positive x in the right hand direction, and in negative direction it will be minus x, negative x. Now we can take the constants from given problem. K equal to 54 watt per meter degree Celsius. Thickness B is 1.25 centimeter. While doing the calculations, we need it all in meter, so convert to meter. 0.0125 meter. Height is 10 centimeter, so it is zero point 0.1 meter, and length anyway 1 meter given. Q bar is given 8000 kilowatt per meter cube. Now again, kilowatt is not a standard SI unit for heat transfer rate. Whenever we handle heat transfer rate for SI unit, we have to take it in watt. We have to take it in watt. So kilowatt will be converted to watt by multiplying 1000. So multiply 1000 here, you will get heat transfer rate in watt. Okay. Now, first thing is asked, that is position and magnitude of maximum temperature. Okay. Now, just we have completed the derivation for the similar case. In that case, so while solving such problem is actually doing the same derivation in the same manner, derivation deriving doing the complete derivation in the same manner, that is by starting from the differential equation, general differential equation, then writing out all the steps such as integrating it twice and putting the boundary conditions and getting to the required equation or required solution. Okay. So while solving that type of this kind of a problem, you have to do all the steps that we have done for derivation. Okay, so remember, all the problems, all the nature of the problems of all this heat generation is such that it is like a derivation. You are deriving the same equation. You are going through the same process of derivation again and again. Only the change will be in boundary conditions. Only the change will be in boundary conditions. Okay, so every problem is like a fresh derivation, renewed derivation. Okay, so all these steps you have to do. You have to write this in C1 and C2 form. You have to apply the boundary conditions in unknown forms. Okay, all these steps have to do. You have to come up to this point. Then again you have to use this dt by dx equal to 0 condition to get the expression for xm, and xm will be obtained like this. Okay, up to this part you have to do it again. Okay, you have to repeat all the steps up and rewrite all the things, and xm equal to this. Okay, and then from this point onwards you can put in the variables, you can put in the values, and you can get the value of xm. Okay, so for this problem solution, what I have done is I have not repeated all those steps, and I have said that refer to early derivation. Okay, only to save the space and time, what I have done is refer to early derivations. So up to this this part, getting up to this derivation or this expression, you have to repeat all those steps before this. Okay, so derive all those things up to this point. So you have to repeat all those steps and get up to this level. And now I am using this anyway, which is available to me. So I'm using this expression directly in this problem solution. So xm equal to put in all the values which are available. K is available 54 watt per meter degree Celsius. TW2 available, that is in 90 degrees Celsius. TW1 is 80 degrees Celsius. Q bar is is given in 8000 kilowatt per meter cube. So multiply here by 1000, so it will be watt per meter cube, plus the last term is B by 2. Thickness B is this 0.0125 meter divided by 2. So when you substitute all the values and calculate it properly, you get xm equal to 0.01165 meter. 0.01165 meter. Convert to centimeter, so it will be 1.165 centimeter. Okay. So this is the location from the left face where maximum temperature will appear, or will occur. So at 1.165 centimeter from the left face, T max occurs, and we can certainly find the T max value at this value of xm. So again, we have to derive the uh, equation of temperature, and uh, when you put x equal to xm, you will get T max. So T max equal to q bar by 2k into b into xm minus xm square plus tw2 minus t1 divided by b into xm plus tw1. Now only you have to put in the values. Xm we have just obtained. This is in centimeters, but for calculations put in meters. So put in all the values in SI units. So you get T max equal to 90.054 degrees Celsius. 90.054 degrees Celsius. So this is the maximum temperature value, and its position that appears is at 1.165 centimeter from the left face. So first part is over. Second part is we have to find the heat transfer rate at the both faces. So total heat generation rate Q bar into V is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Okay, Q1 is the rate of heat transfer at the left face, and Q2 is the rate of heat transfer at the right face. So Q1, again you have to do the same derivation that we saw for a general case and get to this form, and Q1 equal to minus Ka into bracket Tw2 minus Tw1 upon B plus Q bar B upon 2K. Same, all the values are known. Put them in SI units. So you get Q1 equal to minus 9320 watt per meter. Now why this negative sign? Why it is coming in negative sign? Because you look at the direction of heat transfer is here. Now see, we are assuming we are treating x equal to 0 at this phase, and x is increasing in this in the right hand direction. So it is increasing from 0 to in the right hand direction. So it is positive x in right hand direction. But heat transfer rate q1 is going in opposite direction. Its direction is from right to left. Its direction is from right to left. That is why it is coming with negative sign. Otherwise, for quantity there is no any problem. Value is right, but why it is negative? Because it indicates it is flowing in the uh, opposite direction of x, because x is increasing in right direction, but uh, whereas the temperature gradient is in the reverse direction. That is why it is coming with negative sign. Okay, so whenever in case of heat transfer rate, whenever you get negative values, uh, because heat is a energy and there is nothing like a negative energy. Energy will have some finite quantity just like mass. So energy can either be zero or it will be positive, some positive quantity, and anything with negative sign, that doesn't have any meaning. Okay, so positive negative only indicate the direction. So whenever it is negative sign, it means it is in the opposite direction of what we have assumed. Okay. Generally, we assume heat transfer in the direction from left to right to be positive. So when it is negative, it becomes uh, right to left. Okay. Then for Q2, rate of heat transfer for Q2, again you get this from for derivation. You put in the all values. Now it is coming with plus sign. It is positive 680 watt per meter, because it is its direction is towards right. If you get back to the diagram, so q1 is towards left and q2 is towards right. So right direction is in the positive direction of x. That is why it is coming with positive sign. So when you add q1 and q2 together, only quantities will be added, not with positive and negative sign. Only quantities we will add. 680 plus 93320, you get 10,000 watt per meter. So just to check and confirm heat generation, whether it matches with the heat generation rate or not. So we calculate that Q generation is equal to volumetric heat transfer rate into total volume of the plane wall. So Q bar is 8,000 per meter cube, 8,000 in kilowatt, that is 8,000 into 1,000 watt per meter cube, into volume. Now B, volume of the wall is width into height into length. So put in all SI units, so you get the same 10,000 watt per meter. Okay, so both are well verified. It means that whatever we have done is very correct. Okay, so from these calculations, we can just sketch just sketch the values as we have obtained. So okay, so maximum temperature is appearing at 90.054 at this location at 1.165 centimeter, which is much closer to the right face because uh, higher temperature is on right hand side. Okay, whereas lower temperature is on left hand side. Okay, okay. So with this, we will stop at this point because we have already lost our time due to power loss, and we will take on to the remaining or subsequent part in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, so let me record your attendance and then you can depart. Okay, you can leave now. We will meet tomorrow again. Thank you.